So let us start. We're gonna get our minds right. We're gonna go down from our highliner into testing station number 29. There's a couple of contracts that you can do in there. Derek takes you into lab 197, so we're going to start. And there is a pickup contract that you can do in lab 197 as well. So, yeah. So I'm probably have to adjust the volume a little bit on this one. But so this one's the one that's the hole in the ground that you go down into. And the testing stations have different purposes. We know that the first testing station you go into, which is testing station number 2, is an eco testing station where they're doing biology stuff. They're doing plants, right? And everybody's trying to find plants that can survive on Arrakis. So this one has a different purpose. And so we're going to go down into the big hole. So it's assembled differently. You have to go down into the shaft for this one versus it being kind of closer to the surface. And we find a wrecked bike down there. I've never had the guts to drive a bike off the end of it. I mean, you can, but you have to get it back up, which is always a pain. So
contracts have all been signed and certified, Captain. And your advance has been passed on through chosen channels. This operation is costing me a fortune, so I expect quick results. My agents have located the hideout of the Kirab who hijacked our water transport. Your force is to punish the bandits and recover what water you can. Remember, any necessary correspondence is to come directly to me, not anyone else at the Guild.
So this is where we start bringing in some of the other factions. So, well, I mean, we know up top there's people shooting at you, so they were probably pretty desperate and wanted to get over his head. But we're bringing in some of the factions. So we've got the Kirab down here, which is a raider faction, and we have the mercenaries that are sent down here to deal with them. Hold on, my camera's slipping. Okay. So. Yeah, dying of thirst in your base would not be good. Don't do that.
Welcome, visitor, to Imperial Desert Testing Station number 197. I am Station Supervisor Janice Braun of the Imperial Engineering Corps. Yes, this lab has the unique distinction of being headed by an engineer rather than a scientist. Although there are geologists and hydrologists aplenty on our team, our mission requires engineering expertise above all. The mission is simple. Find Dune's water. Our scientific colleagues assure us that conditions are right for the presence of a large aquifer on this planet. Our mission will be to drill deep until we find it.
So this particular station's purpose, the reason it's got the shaft, is they are an engineering station to drill deep. So they're digging down. So yeah, all of the testing stations predate the Butlerian Jihad. And so what they know and what they think they know about Arrakis and what we know as players or readers of the books or whatever, or the movies, are different things. So it's some of the nice little hints things that the writers gave to us, what Joel and his team gave to us. And then I sped up the cut-ins. Again, I know not everybody wants to watch me fight, but I didn't want to do jump cuts because that would take more disorienting. So don't judge me for my fighting. Poke, poke, poke.
Dr. Verde was right. There is water here. The problem isn't finding it. It's keeping it. Our very first bore turned up water aplenty. It was deep, but we initiated a strong flow. We barely finished patting each other on the back when float trickled out. The same with our second bore, and our third, and almost a dozen others. Always the same. A strong flow that quickly dries up. None of the big brains seems to have an answer for it. Dr. McCain wants to investigate that oily residue that keeps coming up on the equipment. She thinks it might be organic in nature. Could that somehow be the problem?
I find it funny that the doctor's name that she mentions is Dr. Verde. And for those of you who speak Spanish, Dr. Green. That's Dr. Green. That's okay. As I did try to warn everybody, this could kind of be a little spoilery, but yeah. So we know from book readers where there is water on Arrakis. It's just not going to be very accessible, and we know those of us who have read or who have kind of picked up the lore a little bit, what the life cycle of spice is and why water is so hard to come, why the problem with the water. And they didn't know so this is them learning these things. So even though they've been on Arrakis for a bit, learning about that process, this process really wasn't mentioned in the movies. I think this is more of a book thing. It might have come up a little bit in the miniseries, but most of the movies really kind of skim over where the water really is and the life cycle of the worm and the sand trout and all of those things.
By all that's holy, Lazaro, you were right. The water transport had far fewer guards than we normally see. It was a simple matter to overwhelm them. And the ice from the pole, Lazaro. I never thought to see such a sight. We are bringing the transport back to the station by secret paths. Have the tank prepared. The thirsty of the region will soon be coming to us with their Solaris in hand. We will all be rich as nobles.
So I think that's a nice little hook for the DLC laters, as well as future story stuff. The polar ice is a big part of Dune lore. And part of the running around is I can never remember where all of the radios are. Can never remember. So sometimes I'm like, is there one over there?
Beware, Lazaro. There is trouble. As you instructed, I went to Mirzabad to spread the word of our water for sale. But while there, I learned that agents of the water shippers have been offering hefty rewards for anyone who can provide information about their stolen shipment. We must prepare.
So yeah, water theft to be a big thing. The point of this testing station is to find water. So water is super important on Arrakis because it's just so hard to get. This is another one that room has evolved a bit. So an ad is going to start in a moment. So I'm going to pause it so we don't miss anything because I want everybody to make sure that we all get to hear the rest of the radio stuff. And I hate the ads. I hate the ads as much as everybody does. Yes. The heavy in here used to be a lot more people, and it used to be really hard. I mean, this is not easy. Don't get me wrong. You still have to be kind of, careful how you do things, but um, it's a lot more manageable solo than it used to be. So if y'all can let me know the ad situation, because I can't see what's going on, so I'm just gonna sit here for a moment and cross our fingers and wait for the ads. Yay, Prestoy, you missed it. You missed the PowerPoint with the Easter egg that you've probably seen before anyway, so it's okay. Did the ads skip? Yes, we did have Modi. So if the ad skipped, I'm going to go ahead and proceed. So the mouse manager is here. That's just wrong. So let's go ahead and keep going. Oh, ad break ends in 90 seconds. So I'm going to give it a moment. I want to make sure. You'll have to watch the VOD. Oh no, they appeared. Oops. I had that happen. I was watching someone the other day, and it had one ad, and then it skipped in the middle, and then it picked another one up. I don't know what was on. So that was very odd. Lulled you into a false sense of security. I don't know. Ad break ends in 45 seconds. I know a wild ad appeared. Is the sound okay? It's always hard to kind of gauge the volume for the cuts. I turned it up kind of loud because it was kind of soft, but then now manually having to turn it down a little bit. Good. Okay. So the last time I had them a little too loud, so I just want to make sure it's all good. You had your chance to go to FunCom. To be fair, it's a Saturday. They probably weren't around. Okay. Ads over? Okay. There's still some biting to go anyway, so this we can. Here comes the flamethrower. I do turn down the audio for the fighty parts because. But. I did want to catch this one.
Ask any of the nobles what is a kirab. A petty bandit, they will tell you. I, Lazaro Fine, am such a kirab, as was my father and his father before him. Yes, I am a bandit. I embrace that, but I do not accept being petty. There is wealth and power to be had on this Dune, even for one such as me. There is the spice, of course, but spice is the treasure of the Imperium. So what, I ask myself, is the treasure of Dune? Water. Water is that treasure. I see the masters of the Water Shippers Guild growing rich, and I think, why not me? Can water not make even a kirab a rich man? Indeed, it can, if that kirab is bold enough to take it. And I am bold enough.
Hold that thought, Frosty. The Karab,
Hey,
gutsy.
Captain.
I know a fellow who's a grunt for the Water Shippers Guild, and he told me something you might want to know. That guild exec that hired us, Oren Rosin?
It is a long
Well,
name.
it seems he has been trying to impress his bosses by reducing expenses. Only one of the ways he tried to save money was by cutting back on security for his ice shipments. The Kirab probably wouldn't have been able to hijack that shipment if it had the required number of guards. And now, Rosin's desperate to try and fix things before the hammer falls. Thought this info might be useful if we want to try to
I haven't played Spice Wars, but I was very curious because I know in the past when we Googled names of people, do we have anybody here who's played Spice Wars? Because that name comes up in Spice Wars. It's yeah. that's a character from Spice Wars. The guy from the Water Shapers saying, "I suck at real-time strategy, so it would not be me." So yeah.
do some extra money out of him.
It lends a little strength to the DLC with the poles and the importance of the water shippers.
This will be my last entry for... well, maybe for good. We've just received word that the protests against the thinking machines have escalated into full-scale war. Everyone says it's a struggle for the very existence of humanity. While the testing stations are being evacuated, we're shutting everything down while we await transport. I hope they hurry.
So all of the labs now we know closed with the Butlerian Jihad. So all of the tech that they have in there predates that. Let's just put in a lot of work, and it's got to be a scary time to wonder, are my machines in my lab about to turn on me? What was that Overdrive movie from Stephen King back in the day, where everything, all the machines tried to kill you, and the electric knife is chasing you around the kitchen. Maximum Overdrive, that would be a scary time. How are you going to get off the planet with, trying to you don't know what's going on, and a war for the safety of humanity. It had to be a really scary time. But so we know from reading the books, and we know from the movies and things and the lore that that organic residue that they were finding was probably part of the process from sand trout, and the process that makes the trout, which makes the spice and so on. That's why the water would be there, and why every time they tried to tap it, the water would go away, because it was not that kind of aquifer. It was not a real aquifer. So why you don't want big pools of water under the ground there. So there was a lot of things that they didn't know about the worm at that time at the start of the Butlerian Jihad. Probably because spice didn't play the extreme importance that it did after the jihad, because now we have to have the spice for presidents, otherwise you can't get around anywhere, would be my guess. Is there anything else So the testing stations closed. At that time, they didn't know why they weren't getting their water. We know because large plots of water are dangerous to the worm, and so there's this as part of this life cycle that organic residue and whatever's in that tank are probably something to do with. And that tank's been sitting for a long time. How long has that goo in there been? I mean, that's just weird. Makes you wonder what Joel's doing over there with scary, noisy tanks. So, testing station number 29. I am also sad when people don't. I get why not everybody's the nerds that we are. Um, Not everybody came for Dune the way we did. Um, some people are just here for survival games. Some people think that they're here for the PvP game. But there is a huge, um, there's a lot of lore in the game. The writer spent a lot of time giving us a great story. Uh, for people who played Conan, and I know Paolo has played Conan. I played Conan. Um, the There's a story there too, and if you blink, you'll miss it. And it's kind of here too. There's just a lot of story and a lot of lore here. You don't have to do it. It's a sandbox. Um, but yeah, it's definitely in there. They're here for the PvP game, and we told them from the official Discord. You guys know we told them and told them and told them and told them for months that if you're here for just PvP, you will probably be disappointed. Um, so, if you haven't run testing station number 29 and don't want to be spoiled, now Sandwalking way. A lot of contracts take you in there. Um, there's good loot to be had. There's a couple of spots going in and out at the end there. So let's look at testing station number 29. This is at the bottom of the rift on the east-west running one. It's on the north side. It's kind of that back end. You can go straight down the shaft to get to it, or you can come at it from the side. Either way works. So once you've been there, you know. I think most of us have. If you don't want to be spoiled, now step away.
Welcome, honored guest. Dr. Natalia Manis here, head of testing station number 29. My fellow station leads are constantly reminding me of what a plum assignment this station is, located as it is in this deep
She is
gravel,
annoying.
rich in shade and sheltered from the weather. Two rarities here on Old Arrakis. I will admit, I do feel lucky. We've developed several shade-tolerant species that can survive on the floor of the Graben. Naturally, this success has made station number 29 a must-see for our colleagues at the more challenging stations. If you are one of those visitors from above, please make yourself at home. I'm sure you'll find it a refreshing break from stinging sand and blistering sun.
And Derek takes you down there. I just wrote something down, so I'll need to remember to mention it when we're done. So she claims that they're down there as a we're gonna do shade resistant stuff. Or for the grenade to go away. Derek is special.
Nico, surprise. I'm not dead. I just figured we'd all end up that way if we kept at this stupid war. That fat pig of a Baron doesn't give a crap about us. So I found a way out. Not just out, but out. As in off-world. So here's the thing. We've got room for one more. If you're ready to leave this worm-riddled sandpit, just start spending time at that dive tea house in Windsack. I'll find you there.
So last week we talked about the deserters, because we talked about Anna Hiller. And for a place that doesn't exist, man, we hear this is the third place that's mentioned Windsack. Third place that's mentioned Windsack. For a place that don't exist, we hear a lot about it. But so we know that the deserters are upset. They're leaving for a variety of reasons. What I find interesting is we keep hearing about the Harkonnen deserters, and they tend to group up and help each other. Because Anna Hiller's got her group. We're gonna do our take care of ourselves here. We're gonna carve out a spot here. This guy's saying we're gonna get off planet. We've got to get out of here. So they're grouping up, and I found that to be very interesting. That even the Harkonnens are saying, man, this isn't working out. The Baron don't care. The Baron doesn't care. And if you've run the Atreides side, Anton's stressed. Anton's feeling the pain. And the war of assassins takes its toll on both sides. There are no good guys here. It's all just various shades of horrible, and everybody's going to end up hiding out in Windsack somewhere. That's because that's just how the place that doesn't exist. Yeah, the war's been going on for a while. One thing that got me about this particular lab, and I had to run it a time or two before it really kind of, why are we hearing a foghorn? Why? Does anybody know why we're hearing a foghorn in the bottom of this lab? It's just like this noise. Why? Why are we hearing a foghorn in there? There's no fog in the bottom of the rift. There's no fog. Why? I don't know either. I would love to find out. If I ever get Jeff back on, I will have to ask him, why are we hearing a foghorn in this lab? I also love that if you're too slow, they call for help down there. This has a lot of the same lab elements and layout as 10. Which was another base held by Harkonnen deserters.
Still needed. Cosmetics to cover tattoos, all skin tones. Harko vendors have these. Civilian footwear. Arakim vendors get everyone's sizes. Don't buy them from one place or all at the same time. Luggage. Aside from the bags, we'll need some civilian crap to fill them. They need to be convincing if searched by guild security. No military gear. No Harkonnen equipment. No mistakes.
I was wondering if there's going to be more clothing vendors from Harko and Harakeen. But also there's a part of me going, how many of the vendors know when people start coming in and buying a bunch of shoes that have a walk? You know what I'm saying? And you would know that the military guys are going to have a different walk from the Chom guys. And it's just like, everybody knows that the deserters are coming in and buying stuff so that they can try and sneak out and leave. It's got to be like a cottage market or something now, where it's just like nods and takes the money and sells 15 pairs of shoes in different sizes. So I think that's telling us that there's clothing vendors. Can we do what? In. I'm not sure what you're asking. Okay. It was going to happen eventually. That's okay. Vendors, but yeah, you can buy stuff from different vendors. The Chom vendor has a lot of stuff. For the public test client, that's where you're going to buy the mechanic stuff. And the vendors only care about money. Also, talk to the vendors. They have a lot of stuff to talk about and more hints and things that Joel and Jeff have left for us in their cruel, cruel way. And I skipped all the loot in here. Look at that. I skipped it all. Because I'm trying to get through. The vendors do have a lot to talk about. One thing I was curious about with this room, before we listen to the next one, is when you go down into the shaft into this lab. Okay, if you're facing the front of the lab door, right, and there's a little platform off to the left where it's got some NPCs on it. To the right is kind of a little barricaded spot. You can go back in there. There's a couple of chests. All right, some ammo, nothing big. But there's these similar graded walls that you see here. And you've seen these graded walls a little ways throughout the lab. But something that I was curious about, why is there barbed wire on top of the walls in here? Why would you need a cage with barbed wire on it in a lab that's supposed to be growing plants? There's not barbed wire on the wall, on the barricade outside the lab. There's not barbed wire outside. There's barbed wire on the ones inside, and only in this room. Not in the room we were just in. This room has barbed wire on it. Why?
Okay, you came through, Andrus. I can admit when I'm wrong. Your guy delivered all 12 Jom uniforms as promised. But you might have noticed that 2 of them are size extra small. Who the hell do you think's gonna fit in those? Get back to your guy and make it right, or you're gonna be the one wearing doll clothes on extraction day.
So there's 12 of them that are getting together to go out. And this is where I always get turned around, and I always go out the wrong way. I'm like, oh. And I said no loot. I had to grab the spice metal because, but yeah, I'm still hearing the foghorn down here. It is a long
Ellis,
way.
please contact the guild rep and arrange passage home for the employees whose records you'll find enclosed. This is everyone who is scheduled to rotate off-world this cycle. And no, your file is not included. You still have 2 more years of eating dust with the rest of us. Sorry.
Howard, here's the details about the Chom drone you'll be impersonating. He had a wife and 2 kids on a cask. Sucks to be them, I guess. You'll find all the specifics in the dossier. Make sure you memorize it all so you can answer guild security questions without hesitation. I'll be testing your knowledge in a couple of days, so don't slack off.
So Ellis lucked out that he wasn't scheduled to go, because otherwise they would have killed him to take his spot. But they've managed to find 12 Chom employees that were scheduled to be rotated off-world, kill them, impersonate them, take their place to leave. So that's kind of an interesting way to, I guess, get it done. But yeah, Ellis got lucky that he wasn't scheduled to go off, because they would have killed him and taken his place too. But why are we hearing a foghorn? And why is there barbed wire in there? That's things that make you go,